Welcome to our True Off My Chest, where today's post takes a wild turn. OP suspects her husband is sleeping with his own sister. Buckle in. This one's from user Coolsir. I think my husband is sleeping with his sister again. So, when my husband was 12, his mother passed away. At 14, his father remarried. His new stepmother had a daughter his age, and they all moved in together. Apparently, my husband and his stepsister used to sneak around their parents and engage in, let's just say, adult activities. This went on for years. We got married at 23. I always thought they were unusually close, but I just chalked it up to growing up together. A few years into our marriage, I discovered my husband was having an affair with her. His own stepsister. I didn't even know how to process it. I had no clue their relationship was ever more than familial. We went to counseling. That's when all the childhood history came pouring out, how close they really were. Somehow, I decided to stay. Mostly for our kids. But lately, something feels off again. He's been coming home late, guarding his phone, avoiding sex. I swear, I can smell her perfume on him. We barely survived the first betrayal. If this is happening again, I'll be shattered. My husband told me she was his first love, but I was his forever love. The one he can't live without. But honestly, OP, sticking around for the kids. I don't think that's the favor you think it is. Imagine them growing up saying, yeah, I'm glad Mom stayed with Dad while he was cheating with Aunt whoever. No trauma there, right? Our next Reddit post is from Oopsadoodle. This happened decades ago when my youngest son was in kindergarten. Little background. My first wife and I married young. We had 2 boys and eventually divorced. It was amicable, and I got full custody. The youngest looked just like me. Brown hair, stocky build. You could tell he'd grow into a football player. The older one took after his mother. Blonde, blue-eyed, pale and thin-skinned. That'll matter later. After the divorce, life moved on. My best friend and roommate helped raise the boys. I met a new woman, and after dating a while, we got married. As far as I knew, she loved the boys like her own. We agreed on discipline, timeouts, talking things through. No spanking in our house. One day, the boys fought over a toy. The older tried grabbing it, and the younger elbowed him in the face. Screaming ensued. I separated them and gave the usual sharing talk. Everything settled. At dinner, I noticed the older had a black eye. He bruised easily, so I gave him an ice pack and some Tylenol. Next morning, I sent him off to school. 3 hours later, knock, knock. 2 county sheriffs and a CPS worker. They arrested my wife, and CPS took my youngest. I got a snippy lecture, then was told to come to the office while they questioned my son. Took a while to get the full story. See, instead of asking, what happened? The teacher apparently jumped straight to, did your mommy hit you? My son, scared he'd get in trouble for the fight, said yes. Teacher filed a CPS report, as required. I explained the situation, but the worker insisted, kids don't lie about these things. My son later recanted and told the truth. But CPS still pushed the narrative that I coerced him. My wife spent a night in jail. Released, but under a no-contact order. She stayed in a hotel for a couple weeks, but it got too expensive. Her parents offered her a plane ticket to stay with them across the country. With the judge's permission, she quit her job and moved. My friend had moved out, and I couldn't afford daycare. So I made the tough call. I asked my ex's parents to take the boys temporarily. Sold most of what I owned, packed up my truck, and drove across the country to be with my wife. She eventually took the case to trial and was found not guilty. But the damage was done. The stress never left our marriage. We divorced a few years later. The wildest part? That CPS worker saying kids don't lie. Have you met a kid? They lie constantly. Cupcake all over their face and they'll swear they didn't eat one. To be fair, it's the CPS worker's job to believe them, but still. Kids are little liars. That's just reality. Our next Reddit post is from Nixed Bones. I'm 27, and I had open heart surgery just over a week ago, my second. My first was at 4. I have a severe form of tetralogy of Fallot, a congenital heart defect. Both surgeries were more complex and took double the time planned. After each one, they couldn't close my chest cavity right away due to swelling. I had to be placed in a medically induced coma. When I was 4, I kept crashing when they removed the breathing tube, so the coma dragged on. This time, I was under for 3 days. But here's the thing, I was conscious. I could hear the doctors, nurses, even my parents. I felt them suctioning fluid around the tube. A nurse gave me a quick wipe down. I heard my sister on a call with my mom. She tried to let me hear my mom, but the doctor shut it down. I was screaming in my head, trying to move, do something, but I couldn't. I saw doctors checking my pupils. I felt them putting drops in my eyes. But I couldn't move. And no one knew I was aware. Nothing in my vitals showed it. When I woke up and recounted all of it, everyone, doctors, parents, were horrified. The hospital gave me an in-person apology. They said they were launching an internal investigation. I've looked online and haven't found many stories like mine, some from coma patients with brain trauma, but not medically induced ones like this. Honestly, it felt like a horror movie. I know there's a film with a plot like this, people paralyzed during surgery while awake. Never watched it, but the preview alone creeped me out. And yeah, I checked the comments. Turns out, I couldn't feel the pain from being cut open. But I did feel joint pain from staying in one position too long. When nurses moved me, it hurt. So yeah, even without feeling the scalpel, being trapped in your body while surgeons mess with your insides? Straight up psychological torture. And finally, a story from Fatty Apples. Back in high school, there was a boy who had been battling terminal cancer for years. I forget the exact type, but it had already taken one of his relatives. He used to play football, but by high school, he was mostly wheelchair-bound. He still showed up to games, hung with his teammates, and had that honorary player status. I was a cheerleader, so we spent a lot of time around the football guys. Between bus rides, pep rallies, and lunch periods, we got close. Everyone wanted to make his high school life memorable. Most people didn't think he'd make it to graduation. Despite his pain, he was funny, always trying to make others smile. As his condition worsened, but before he was fully in a wheelchair, he'd ask us to help him down cafeteria stairs, since it was faster than taking the ramp. I didn't hesitate. I'd put his arm around my shoulder and guide him down. Then one day, instead of grabbing my shoulder, he reached down and cupped my breast under my jacket. I didn't say anything. I just helped him to his seat like nothing happened. And it didn't stop. A few more times, same thing. I let him. I never spoke up. Do I regret it? Not really. Do I regret staying silent? Also no. Sometimes I feel weird about it, but in the end, he never made it to graduation. I just hope it gave him some comfort in his final months. Down in the comments, people are talking about Make a Wish. And one user, not a fan of Olive, has thoughts.